You are staring at a blank screen. The cursor is blinking. You have a major project due, a massive goal to achieve, and you know exactly what needs to be done. You have the skills, you have the intelligence, but instead of typing a single word, you open another tab. You rearrange your desk. You start aggressively cleaning your entire room. The hours slip away. The deadline gets closer. The panic builds in your chest, but your body physically refuses to execute the task. You are trapped in a state of agonizing inertia. You tell yourself that you are just lazy. You tell yourself that you lack discipline, but you are lying to yourself. You are experiencing the perfectionist's trap. Laziness is a lack of desire to exert effort. Laziness feels relaxing. What you are experiencing does not feel relaxing. It feels like standing on the edge of a cliff, completely frozen in terror. To understand why your brain is actively sabotaging your success, we have to completely redefine what perfectionism actually is. It is not a high standard of work. Perfectionism is a cognitive distortion. It is a highly sophisticated, invisible defense mechanism designed to protect you from the psychological trauma of being judged, rejected, or found inadequate. Society praises perfectionists as dedicated, detail-oriented workers. But from a neurological standpoint, perfectionism is simply an extreme, chronic manifestation of fear. When you sit down to start that project, your brain does not see a simple task. It sees a massive, existential threat to your identity and your social survival. Your nervous system reacts to the blank page the exact same way it would react to a physical predator. And when confronted with a predator you cannot fight, your brain defaults to the third survival instinct. You freeze. This glitch usually begins in childhood. It is known as gifted kid syndrome. You were praised primarily for your output, your grades, and your innate talent, rather than your effort. Your brain quickly learned a very dangerous mathematical equation. Your fundamental worth as a human being is entirely dependent on your ability to produce flawless results. If your output is flawless, you are loved. If your output is average, you are worthless. The stakes for every single task are raised to absolute, terrifying extremes. You are no longer just writing an email, or painting a canvas, or starting a business. You are stepping onto a tightrope where a single misstep means total psychological annihilation. So, how does your brain protect you from the terrifying possibility of producing something mediocre? It ensures that you never produce anything at all. As long as the project remains in your head, it is perfect. It is safe from criticism. The moment you type the first word, you bring it into reality, where it becomes vulnerable to failure. You are paralyzed by the gap between your flawless, theoretical vision and your messy, flawed reality. You freeze because not trying is mathematically safer than trying and falling short. Perfectionism is the ultimate form of self-sabotage, wrapped in a socially acceptable disguise. It is a psychological prison that guarantees you will never reach your actual potential. But eventually, the deadline approaches. The external pressure of failing the class or losing the job finally overrides your internal fear of imperfection. This introduces the second half of the glitch: weaponized procrastination. You wait until the absolute last minute, plunging yourself into a state of intense, adrenaline-fueled panic. You think this is just bad time management, but psychology reveals that waiting until the last minute is actually a brilliant, subconscious defensive shield. If you spend 2 weeks working on a project, pour your entire soul into it, and it gets rejected, that destroys your identity. It proves you are not good enough. But if you wait until the night before, you give yourself a built-in psychological out. If the project fails, it isn't because you lack talent. It is simply because you didn't have enough time. Procrastination protects your ego. It allows you to preserve the illusion that you could have been perfect if only you had started earlier. You survive the deadline. The adrenaline fades. You swear you will never do it again. But the cycle is locked in. Your brain has learned that panic is the only way to bypass the freeze response. Living in this cycle is biologically unsustainable. Relying on cortisol and adrenaline to force yourself to work physically destroys your nervous system over time. This is what leads to the ultimate crash. You burn out so completely that you lose the ability to care at all. The perfectionist becomes the apathetic ghost. You have tied your entire self-worth to an impossible standard, and you are using fear as your only source of fuel. It is a guaranteed recipe for total systemic collapse. To break the cycle, you have to fundamentally sever the connection between your output and your identity. You have to consciously adopt a philosophy of deliberate mediocrity. You must lower the stakes to trick your amygdala out of the fight or flight response. The most effective psychological hack is to tell yourself that you are not writing the final project. You are intentionally writing the worst possible garbage draft. By actively giving yourself permission to create something terrible, you remove the existential threat. The brain stops treating the keyboard like a predator. The paralysis instantly dissolves. Once you are in motion, physics takes over. An object in motion stays in motion. It is infinitely easier to edit a bad page than it is to stare at a blank one. You must implement the 70% rule. In the modern world, shipping a project that is 70% perfect today is infinitely more valuable than a 100% perfect project that never leaves your hard drive. Perfection is the enemy of execution. The world does not reward the people with the most flawless ideas in their heads. It rewards the people who are willing to be messy in public. Stop trying to earn your gold stars. Your worth as a human being was established the moment you were born, and it does not fluctuate based on a spreadsheet or a grade. If you wait until you are ready, you will wait forever. If you wait until it is perfect, you will never exist. You have to embrace the friction of being a flawed human. Lower the bar, break the freeze, type the first word, no matter how bad it is, and prove to your brain that you will survive the imperfection. You are not a machine designed to produce flawless output. You are an organic, messy, evolving system. The fear of failure is a hallucination. It is a ghost created by a society that wants to keep you paralyzed. The only real failure is absolute stagnation. The only real tragedy is building a beautiful, flawless prison for yourself and throwing away the key. Look at history. The greatest achievements of humanity were not born from sterile perfection. They were born from massive, chaotic, embarrassing iterations. You have to be willing to strike the iron while it is messy. You have to be willing to let people see your rough drafts. Drop the mask. Let the illusion of perfection die, so the reality of your execution can actually live. The moment you accept that you are allowed to produce garbage, the heavy, crushing weight of the world completely evaporates. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. The freedom is on the other side of the first terrible sentence. Reclaim your momentum. You are stronger than the glitch. You are capable of moving through the fear. The trap only works if you refuse to move. Dare to be mediocre today. You can fix it tomorrow.